apologies, I was not here earlier, but we have a series of engagements going on since we are celebrating 12 years of our government at the center with Prime Minister Narendra Modi as the Prime Minister. And we have a series of programs going on in that respect. It's wonderful to have my colleague, Shri Prasad, interact with all of you and share with you our perspective of for the pharmaceutical industry going forward. Commerce Secretary Mr. Rajesh Agarwal, Chairman Mr. Namit Joshi, all the other distinguished friends on the dais, off the dais, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. In our ancient texts, the Upanishads, there is a very famous Sanskrit shlok or a sentence which says Sarva Santu Niramaya, which means, translates in English to, may all beings be free from illness. In a way, it's ancient Indian wisdom. Good health belongs to every human being. But I think collectively, post-COVID particularly, the world has recognized our shared responsibility to make the world a better place to live in, a safer place to live in, and to ensure access to healthcare across the world in fair measure, to ensure that every person born anywhere in the world should be taken care of. For thousands of years, India has seen health as a shared responsibility. And I think this philosophy guides modern pharmaceutical industry, where there is an effort that more and more markets, more and more people should get the benefit of innovation, should enjoy the fruits of the good work done by the pharmaceutical sector. And I think this is what IPHEX stands for. The 12th edition of IPHEX, a platform that brings together the finest minds in India in the pharma and healthcare sector, invites all of you and delegates from your countries, exhibitors from your countries, from around the world, to come and participate and experience the India growth story, particularly in the pharmaceutical sector. We believe we have probably 700, 800 or 1,000 exhibitors. After today's program, we should cross 1,000. And a number of overseas business delegations which will be visiting to see firsthand what is happening in the India pharmaceutical sector. As I said, we are celebrating 12 years of the Modi government. During these 12 years, taking our industry to international markets has been an important element of this journey. We have recently entered into 9 free trade agreements, and I see a number of countries represented here with whom we've done free trade agreements in the recent past. Today, we cover more than 50 countries with free trade agreements. Almost the entire developed world offers preferential market access to Indian goods and services. And therefore, we see ourselves as a part of global supply chains and an integral part of your country's journey in the pharmaceutical sector, maybe as a customer, maybe as an innovator, maybe as a country which works on clinical trials, maybe as a country which offers technology or gets contract manufacturing done in India. There are so many different ways. We haven't reached anywhere close to our potential. We can clearly see this industry doubling in the next 5 years, we are looking at moving out beyond generics into more and more innovation, more and more innovative products, but of course, without sacrificing the huge benefits that the generic sector offers for patients around the world. In fact, I suspect if generics were not available at the price points that India offers, millions of patients around the world would have had to suffer lack of access to healthcare and medicine purely for the innovative cost that medicines and branded medicines cost in most parts of the developed world. Even the developed countries eagerly look forward to our generic medicines to serve the common man, to serve the needs of routine medical health care. I think I'm told I would probably be a few percentage points off the mark, but 80 to 90% by volume of the medicines sold in the US are of generic medicines, even though they account for barely 10-15% of the value. But even at that price point, these generics are available and serve the larger needs of society. I think there are three important factors which define the pharmaceutical sector in India. One is trust. We have aligned India's good manufacturing practices framework to global benchmarks. 65 to 70% of World Health Organization requirements on vaccines are produced in India, sourced from India. 10 out of 25 global generic companies operate out of India. In fact, the trust that we have generated lends us to have the highest number of US FDA-approved plants in India compared to any other part of the world. The largest number are in India. Two, we are now getting into the innovation world rapidly. In fact, our patent filings have increased by almost 100% in the last few years alone. We are focusing on high-value segments through Bio Pharma Shakti, a program that we have launched to encourage innovation in India in the pharmaceutical sector. $100 billion in Switzerland, where Miss Excellency Miss Maya comes from, because the costs of operation in India are so much less compared to Europe or America that with a $105,000 per capita income in Switzerland and innovation being largely driven by talent, by human beings, and having a lot of costs on clinical trials and the entire innovation spectrum, focusing a lot on manpower, with $100,000 plus per capita income in Switzerland or $85,000 per capita income in the US, India offers that same talent, possibly better, since many of the Indians are working in many of these pharma companies worldwide in their innovation work labs. You can probably get the same person at 1/10 the price in India and serve global innovation needs from India. And lastly, our partnership model. We believe in enduring partnerships with companies around the world. We wish to invite global pharma companies to come to India. They will enjoy the fruits of a large demand generated by 1.4 billion Indians, a rising middle class with growing incomes, the world's fastest growing large economy, growing even in these turbulent times when we were slapped with 50% tariffs by the US, when we had two wars raging, one in Ukraine, one in West Asia. Even in such a period, India has seen growth at constant prices which figures were released 2 days back, at 7.7% for the year ended March 26. That's the potential, that's the India growth story that is on offer as a partner, a trusted partner to your countries, to meet your needs, to global pharmaceutical companies, to help them in their innovation journey. And in terms of market access, we are willing to open our doors to high quality innovative products from the pharma sector from other parts of the world, as we have received 0% of preferential market access for most of our pharma products in countries with whom we have entered into free trade agreements. Providing not only the needs of India, but the needs of a large part of the world, particularly the global south, the less developed countries or emerging economies who benefited hugely from our medicines and from the vaccines that were produced in India. I can share with you how India managed the pharmaceutical product at affordable prices for other countries during COVID by restricting the export of medicines and vaccines. And when we initially restricted the export, everybody in the world panicked. They thought India was going to deprive other countries of much needed medicines or much needed vaccines. But the truth was absolutely the opposite. We had brought in those restrictions only to make secular availability of these medicines and vaccines at affordable prices to all the other countries around the world. Our fear was that traders or companies with large financial muscle could have otherwise cornered the available pharmaceutical products in India and sold them at a huge profit to countries around the world who needed it desperately during COVID. And I broadly basis past experience and population so that that cannot become a conduit to again resell to third countries and make a profit by certain companies or middlemen. I said within 2 or 3 days you'll get the confirmation of these medicines. Prima facie I could see that we shouldn't have a problem in any of those. I said don't bother about the linkage to any of what you said earlier. Whether you give the grant or you don't give the grant, you give the loan or you don't give the loan, you send the ventilators or you don't send the ventilators, you'll get the medicines that you require. And friends, to this day, I don't know if the first 3 issues were ever done. I never bothered to check up from finance. But we made sure that they received all the medicines that they required. That is our culture. That is the trust that we wish to share with all of you. And these are the partnerships which will endure well beyond a pandemic like COVID, a war which may cause some temporary distress. We are looking for partnerships that will last generations. We are looking for partnership that will benefit the entire world, because as we believe, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that was the theme of our G20 presidency in 2023. It translates to the world is one family. And we look upon all of you, our brothers and sisters, as one family. And together with you, we'd like to travel this journey of innovation, this journey of sustainable healthcare production, healthcare solutions, and most importantly, inclusive healthcare for every citizen of the world, so that no child ever is deprived of quality healthcare and safety. Thank you very much, Excellencies, for joining us this evening.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Sir, for gracing this occasion. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to host you here in our midst. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now be witnessing the launch of IPHEX 2026 by the Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Piyush Goyal.